Good evening, everybody. It is time for the evening briefing. I want to get down here to the beach to check it out and see if I thought going grunion hunting tonight was a good idea for both of us, for you and for me. If it's too rough, man, I'm going to suggest that you wait at least another night and we'll see how that looks on tomorrow. But we're just about ready to go up over the berm here and take a look. Now what we've got, it really doesn't look that bad, but we're gonna have to see what happens with this wind here tonight, because it is starting to blow a little bit. It's starting to rain a little bit harder. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to get in with you here on the evening briefing, but we've got a lot to talk about as usual. So I just want to give you a look at this as it stands right now, right before a sunset, and take a look at it with you. All right, there you have that, and it is great to be with you all here. It's a little rainy, but there really is not much wind so far. That wind is supposed to show up here this evening, but right now, if you were grunion hunting in this, it wouldn't be a problem at all. The hours of the grunion run tonight are 10:30 p.m. until 12:30 p.m., way past my bedtime. I may wake up and walk down here, but I will tell you this right now. I'm not a big fan of the first night of a grunion run. I like the second night, maybe even the third night, and then not a big fan of the fourth night. Now, of course, that is not science. That's just 50 years of doing this kind of stuff, coming down here and checking these grunion out. So I'm not really sure about tonight. 10:30 to 12:30, I wouldn't put my foot down here until 11:30 tonight. And the reason, I've gone over it with you, that many times that first hour, they just don't show up. You just don't see them. And then you're cold and it's windy and you're miserable. And about 45 minutes into it, you say, screw this, I'm out of here. In fact, there was one night down here where my kids and I threw the towel in, almost threw the towel in. We were walking back up and Patrick said, hey, I think I just saw one. And I go, yeah, right. He goes, no, really? And then we saw a single come up on the beach. And so we said, all right, well, shoot, let's hang out. We're here. And before you know it, man, the whole beach was just covered with grunion. It really is a beautiful sight. And as I've mentioned to you guys, all of us fishermen, it's pretty fun to fish with those grunion on a night like tonight. You put them on a hook and toss them out there. And you might ask yourself, as I have many, many times, why in the heck is a fish going to swim through all of that grunion and bite your bait with a hook in it? Of all the tens of thousands of baits, or how many baits are actually out there, why is that grunion going to do that? And to that I reply, that's a hell of a good question. And my answer is that maybe when that game fish comes in and it swims in, all the grunion scatter, but your bait's sitting there on that hook and it's not scattering, it's just sitting there, and that halibut or that big yellowfin croaker or that corbina or shark comes up and just munches on the easy bait, which is the one with the hook in it and a sinker holding it there in the surf. So tonight, not bad. I thought it was going to be way worse than this, and this actually looks pretty good. Don't see many times, and I'll look out there with you right now. That water feels pretty good, not too cold. Don't see any pelicans staging. I don't see any birds hitting the water. Sometimes you will see that, many times you'll see that right before a really good grunion run. You'll see all kinds of birds way offshore there hitting the water. It's a little bit rainy, foggy, so maybe I can't see out to the point where that kind of bird life and activity is taking place right now. But with the naked eye here, as far as I can see, I can't see any bird activity at all. And as I mentioned to you, we'll come down here on a good grunion run and you'll see like a dozen blue herons all lined up in a single row. It's beautiful with their noses pointed out to sea as if they know the grunion run is going to happen. When you see that, it's nature's way of telling you, here they come. And more times than not, those birds, those blue heron are right on. It's pretty amazing stuff. Hey, we'll be here at the beach on March the 23rd for our surf fishing extravaganza, and you are invited March the 23rd, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. right down there at Anderson Street and Pacific Coast Highway. You know, if you show up at 6:37, that's not going to be bad at all. You could show up at 9 with some coffee and a donut and a chair and sit down and enjoy this if you'd like to just do that. It's all about you coming down and having some fun. Maybe do a little beach cleanup, bring a garbage bag, and just pick up some of the trash that you might find on the beach, some of the stuff that either washes ashore or some people unfortunately still leave on the beach after a day down here. But for the most part, it's a day all for you, and it's very kids friendly. We want a lot of kids to come down. If the kids get bored fishing, well then, you know, we're throwing sand at one another, we're running all up and down the berms and everything else. It will be, though, down there at Anderson Street and Pacific Coast Highway. You can find some parking there. If you can't, you'll park on the other side of the street over there at Peters Landing, and then just walk straight out on the beach. We'll be down there waiting for you this time at Big Fish Bait and Tackle on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. On March the 23rd, you can pick up a rod and reel combo, like a surf fishing outfit. I think they have them for 60 bucks. For the cheaper ones, 120 bucks for a lot better one. They'll knock 15% off of that. And you'll also get 10% off any tackle you buy, hooks, sinkers, line, fluorocarbon, lures, whatever it is you get, they'll knock 10% off that. Nothing off the bait, but off the tackle, and also off a single rod or a combo, whatever it is you're after. So that's good stuff. As far as what's going on here in Southern California, pretty darn slow. I mean, not necessarily because the fishing's slow, but this weather's tough. It's very difficult to get out in this kind of weather and get anything accomplished at all. It was raining a little bit harder, and down toward Huntington Beach here, it looks like it's really starting to come down. So once again, it looks like we're going to have another day where we didn't get much accomplished here. There's been sculpin, whitefish, there's been some sheephead, there's been a few halibut up here. The better halibut scores have been down there on that Dolphin out of Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. We had 17 fish to 23 pounds on their last trip. Up here, the Native Sun had 6 halibut on their last trip. There's a little bit of sand and calico bass. Also, Marina Del Rey on their twilight trips have been doing pretty good. So there's a little bit going on, but we need to get away from this weather and get things to calm down. You look at the long range weather forecast, and that's dicey anytime you try to get out too far. But you start to look at like the 18th, 19th into that, our 23rd, and it looks like we're gonna have some nice weather, get a little break from the rain and the wind for a little while. So that is good stuff indeed. Looks like a part of a Pismo clam to me. So once again, we'll continue to watch this here. Now, south of the border, what we have been seeing, of course, is some good yellowtail fishing. San Quintin, we see some good yellowtail fishing down there. And also we have been seeing some good yellowtail fishing in Ensenada. By the way, this morning on the morning briefing, I mentioned that Mexico maybe was enforcing the FMM. It's a temporary permission to go into Mexico as a tourist. It's not a visa, but it's permission to go into Mexico. And in the past, you never had to worry about that. But now, some guys were putting on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel, hey, don't worry about it. I have interviewed 2 guys who drove down to Ensenada today, and they said that if you don't have your FMM, there are 3 checkpoints on the way from Tijuana to Ensenada, and the federales are pulling you over and they're checking for your FMM, and if you don't have it, they're sending you right back to Tijuana, Baja California. Now, those are just a couple of guys I've interviewed. I'm going to be communicating more with the Mexican consulate here in Los Angeles, California. I have some good friends there, and Monday I think we'll be able to get everything ironed out. But for right now, you need an FMM. So you can do that online. You might want to search that out. You can also do it when you cross the border into San Isidro, into Tijuana, You just have to go into the buildings over to your right. I know it sounds a little confusing, sounds like a pain in the neck, and I know a lot of you are going to say, shine this, man. I'll go back to Mexico and I don't have to deal with all that stuff. So for right now, that seems to be the situation. I also understand that some of the smaller border crossings, Otay Mesa and Tecate, they just are taking care of it right when you pull up there. They're getting the paperwork all filled out, picking up your $30, $40, whatever it is, and getting your FMM. So there you have it. Going south of the border right now, sounds like it's a little bit more of a hassle than it was. But let me confirm all of this. Like I said, I'll keep working on it this weekend for you all, but the council will open back up on Monday. I had some discussions with them today, and then we'll find out exactly what's going on with that, with the Mexican consulate in Los Angeles, California. We'll find out exactly how that goes, because come on, man, we got a lot of great fishing to do in Ensenada, San Quintin, and just driving down the Baja Peninsula. One of my favorite things to do. It is so beautiful. I love it. Absolutely. So once again, in the Southern California surf, I want to talk about the bite here. It's been mostly barred perch here down around Bolsa Chica, and same thing down toward San Clemente, Oceanside, down to San Diego. You know, the Santa Monica Bay, we've seen some nice big yellowfin croaker up there in that area. So there has been some of that going on, and there's been a little bit more corvina in the surf here recently also. So we'll see how that goes as this weather starts to mellow out and we get into these Grunion runs, which is scheduled for this evening. That only is going to get the surf biting better and better and better. And I got a feeling that next week could be good. Perfect timing for our birthday bash here on the beach, as well as some great surf fishing. So we'll keep our eyes on that. 5-day fishing trip on board the Independence. I hope you're enjoying some of the seminars that Brian Pfeiffer, the captain of the Independence, we're putting those out on Shorts and on Facebook. And man, a lot of you are really enjoying Brian. He is a great captain, a great friend. The crew on the Independence, fantastic. The food is really good. And with the spotter plane the other day, seeing 5 spots of bluefin tuna, only 75 miles from Point Loma, we've got high hopes that that is going to come together on that trip. I know Chad Christopher Klein, I was talking to him this evening. He's a fantastic guy, and he is so excited about this trip, as yours truly, as am I. I am really thinking this is going to be a good one. We've got that fish that they've been looking at there, but more importantly for our 5-day trip, we've got fish down to 300 miles, and that has been biting fish down there. It has been biting a little bit to the south. That's some yellowfin tuna. We could be into a bluefin, yellowtail kind of scenario on that 5-day trip in April. Man, it is so cool when you get to start your year out in April with a big catch, because man, the pressure is off. You've made your catch. Other guys are sitting around waiting for July to roll around or something like that, and you've already made your catch, and it has been a memorable one. Fingers crossed that that's how this plays out. And once again, don't forget, you can get a reservation on that Freedman Adventures trip. It's April 21st through the 26th by going to www.independencesportfishing.com. There's a phone number there. You can call Pauline in the office. She's absolutely fantastic, and enjoy that. Red Rooster 3 on the long range scene into San Carlos. They had a rough ride up from Hurricane Bank. They had okay fishing on big yellowfin tuna and wahoo. Not wide open conditions, never were great. Then one day they got some really beautiful weather, and it went full speed, wide open wahoo. Tremendous wahoo fishing for those guys on that one day, as good as it gets. And the other days they put together some decent scores, don't get me wrong. It was pretty good also. So once again, we're dealing with a little bit of inclement weather here in Southern California. We'll continue to watch all the fishing for you in the surf, long range down in Baja California, up in this neck of the woods, and also Grunion for tonight. As it looks right now, you could definitely do this. You always have to be careful with the kids, as you know, but it looks pretty good. And as I say, I would wait for day 2. However, then it's like a half hour later, so it's going to be 11 to 1 or something like that. For some of you, that may not be a problem. For an old fart like me, man, that's pushing it. I have to wake up in the middle of the night. Maybe nature calls and I just lay in bed and I say, oh, what the hell? Might as well. And then I end up out here. It's always a really cool thing. And it's all so different out here at night. It really is. I mean, all the bird life and everything else during a Grunion run is truly remarkable. I'll be at 22nd Street Landing tomorrow. So if you see the door open, pop your head in there and say hello. I'll be down there doing some organization with regard to all of the goods we have for Mexico that we'll be shipping down there shortly, and doing some other work, some voiceover work, and a lot more. So if you happen to go by there, please, please, please stick your head in there so I can thank you for your great support. And also, don't forget March the 23rd. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's a Sunday morning. We're all finished at 10. You can go to church after that, and you can enjoy a great day with some really great people. The Friedman Adventures family members are truly wonderful people. I am so blessed to have you all with me. All right, my friends, have a great one. I'm going to head back in before this rain gets too crazy. And once again, I deeply appreciate all you do. Take care, and I hope to see you really, really soon.